Hey everybody, Sue here with She Sells. You'll have to excuse my voice. It's pollen season in Atlanta. And pretty much every year I start to lose my voice with the allergy kind of thing. I might be just a little bit recovering from Las Vegas and ASD because places were really loud there and you had to talk really loud. And maybe there was a few late nights and some fun going on. But anyway, hopefully you can hear me and understand me. I want to talk to you today about an INAD that I got on eBay. It was just really kind of a strange one. So I sold a toy, a transformer. It was a return from, no, it wasn't even a return from Amazon. It was some that I bought around Christmas time and then I ended up not sending in. I actually have 4 or 5 of them and it's probably time to just check back on Amazon and see if they've gone up. It was one of those items that I passed on, and then there was one night, this was from Ollie's, where they had 25% off all toys. And I was like, oh, for 25% off, I'll go ahead and get this. And then I just ended up not sending them in. I can't remember exactly why. I'm pretty sure it was price. But anyway, I actually sold one before Christmas on on eBay. So, recently I had hired someone to do some listings for me, and that was one of the things I had her list. So I sold one, and the person got it, and within an hour, she's asked for a return because it was not as described, item not as described. Well, I thought maybe she was just trying to, get it for, not have to pay for the return. But it returns as part of business, and I didn't get all upset over it or anything. But I did send her a little message, because the reason she said it was not as described was that it didn't take batteries like the listing said, and it didn't make sounds and talk like the listing said. Well, I looked back at my listing because I thought, oh, first mistake by my lister. But I read the description, and it just said, turns 360 degrees, or I forget the exact wording. I'm going to leave a space in here and let you see them. But I just sent her a quick note saying, no problem, I don't have any problem with the return, but I just wanted to make sure you had actually purchased from my listing and not, by mistake took mine when you were going to buy someone else's. I said it a lot nicer than that. Anyway, I didn't hear anything, and, eBay sent her a return label automatically, and I heard back from her a couple days later, and she copied and pasted my listing, and I thought, okay, she's copied and pasted the wrong listing. But as I went down through the listing, it had my city, and I'm thinking, okay, how many of this same transformer could have been sold from my little city in Georgia? So I went back and I looked at my listing again, and I didn't see that whole paragraph at all in my listing. So I called eBay, and they looked at my listing and didn't see it. And then she said, oh, wait a minute, let me go back and look at it from my own account and see how that person was seeing it. And I thought, I didn't think to do that. But anyway, she did that. At first she said, oh wait, I can't see it because it's already sold. And I said, well, you can filter for solds. And she's like, oh yeah, I always forget that. So she looks it up, and sure enough, it's that same sentence that other lady's seeing. It takes AAA batteries or whatever, and it makes sounds and says this and that. I thought, this is so bizarre because it's not in my listing at all. And the person from eBay said, well, maybe when you put the UPC code in there, it automatically pulls it from Mattel or Hasbro or whatever it was. I thought, well, that would be weird because it wouldn't be for the right UPC, because my toy didn't take batteries and didn't talk or make sounds. And I even double-checked the UPC because I even had it in the picture. I could have walked downstairs, but it was there in my listing, the UPC, the picture of it. So she was like, I just don't understand how this happened, and I see that you're not in the wrong. I see that your listing didn't say this, but it somehow got pulled in there. And she's like, I'm going to put in a ticket to see if we can figure out what happened. An investigation, I think is how she worded it. And she was like, I'm going to put a note in your account that in case you get the INAD, you can call and have it removed. Now, I'll be honest with you, I haven't checked yet, because she did say it could take a few days for that to come. I think it was just Friday that I got the return, and I actually gave her the money back. So I will go ahead and check that. Maybe I'll try and do that before I edit this and put it up on eBay. It's a little sunny today. I'm going to throw my sunglasses on. Anyway, yeah, I just thought that was a really strange thing. And, my poor customer, she was in the right. But I just never, she was in the right in that she read that in my listing. But I just think it's really weird that we never wrote that in the listing. So I'm going to leave a space here to show you both those. First, what she sent me. And then second, what I actually wrote in there. Now, just know that I did mention to the person who was listing for me, I used to put in my listings, at the very bottom, I would put 3 things in there. I would put something about that we always strive for superior customer service, that we ship the next day, the next business day, and that we take 30-day returns. But honestly, I don't know if people even mostly ever read the description. Obviously this person did, because she read the weird added description. But I stopped putting that stuff in my description because really it's in the item specifics, or my return policy, what my return policy is. And it just, to me, took up a little too much time, because I think most people buy from mobile these days, or many people do, and they never even really actually get to the description. It actually probably would have saved me in this one, because had we not put anything in the description, that other piece wouldn't have got added in there. But I usually do copy my title over into the description, and then I very much highlight if there's anything wrong with the item. I'll have that in my description, like imperfect box or something like that, but I like to again note that in this description, because often mine are returned items, and or I didn't sell them on Amazon because there's a little defect in the box or something. I'll definitely take a picture of that and say in the description, box has creasing upper right hand corner, see photo, something like that. Or box has some shelfware, unopened package but creases in the package, or something like that. Again, a lot of people don't read that, but I can always come back and say, look, it was there in the description. I am behind this really slow truck and trying to move over, but everybody's passing me, so I'll just wait for a little bit. Yeah, anyway, so, there's not much I can do. I did get the item back, and actually, I haven't opened it up yet, so maybe I'll open that for you and just make sure that it's still in good condition. And, it's one of those things that I might just throw up on Facebook Marketplace. Middle of April, I'm going to be home for a couple weeks because my husband will be recovering from surgery. And if anyone was wondering, that's also when I'm going to list those shoes and clothing that I bought. I've been trying to source like a mad woman and get a lot into Amazon, since I won't be able to source probably for a week. I'm hoping that I'll still be able to make some little trips out after a week. But my husband is a man, and they don't like to be sick. You guys are whiners. You just know it. Go ahead, put the comments in there if you want to. I don't care. My husband's a whiner. He doesn't watch my YouTube channel anyway. So where was I? I may just throw up a bunch of toys on Facebook Marketplace the middle of April because, Easter will be coming. And I sold a good bit just before Christmas. I don't think I've ever really tried to sell toys specifically for Easter. And these aren't really Easter items, but they might, people might be looking for that kind of stuff for Easter baskets or whatever. But I'll definitely get it back on eBay as well, because I don't know, you never know in the long run with no fees on Facebook Marketplace, and I always do porch pickup, so I don't even have to leave my house. I may just make as much on Facebook Marketplace. Who knows? We'll see. So anyway, yeah, that's about it on that INAD. I want to talk about one other thing today, kind of going with your gut. I had a trip planned for yesterday. Actually, I was going to leave Saturday. And I literally had my car packed and everything. But I woke up Saturday morning and I was kind of like, I'm not going to leave today. I'm not sure why. I wasn't feeling terrible. My voice sounds worse than anything. I don't really feel sick. But I just had this feeling like this isn't the day for me to leave. So I just went with that. My husband had asked me if I would leave the truck this time. Actually, I offered, because I was going to take a bit of a longer trip than I normally do. I would say probably minimum 4 days, maximum 6 days. And usually I only try to be gone a couple days. But again, I'm trying to do this, getting prepped for the middle of April. Right now it's the 23rd, I believe. So I had said I'll go ahead and take the RAV instead of the truck, because I know he hates driving the RAV around town. But I decided, since I wasn't leaving Saturday, that I would try to take the back seat out. And I watched a YouTube, and it was pretty simple. The guy just popped the covers off and took about, 4 or 5, maybe 8 bolts out, and then just lifted the seats out. So I thought, you know what, if I take that back seat out, although my middle seat folds down flat, I can't quite fit 2 high 24 by 20 by 20 boxes. They don't quite fit on top of each other. So I thought, if I take that middle seat out, I could probably at least get 2 more boxes, maybe 3 if they will fit wide, and 3 on top of that, because I'll be gone a long time and I'll be doing a lot of shipping from the hotel. And obviously I would have to ship less if I had the truck, but I was trying to be nice to my husband and take the RAV instead. Well, I couldn't even get the first bolt out myself because they were pretty tight. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to run it up to my mechanic, because we use a local mechanic that we have used for literally 20 years, I would say. All my kids bought junkers, and they know us really well. My husband and I have bought newer cars. We pretty much do all our maintenance there. We had a wiring kit that got eaten by a squirrel in the Ford, so we spent a good money on that there. But other than that, actually, my husband had a transmission replaced there as well. So, they've made some good money on us over the years, but they're super nice. And, I've brought my car in and said, my brakes are squeaking. And they checked it out and said, you got 10,000 miles left on these. So, super happy, super comfortable. If you ever have a chance to get a good local mechanic, get one. Anyway, I brought it up there. They were closing in 2 hours. They're only open till 2 o'clock on Saturday. And I go, I know it's last minute, but could you help me get this back seat out of my car? And he knows what I do. And funny thing is, 2 days before, my husband had gone in and gotten the oil changed in the truck, and he was like, can you change the oil in this today, because Sue's going to take it out on the road and I want to have it, It didn't quite need an oil change, but it would have for sure by the time I got back. So anyway, he's like, yeah, come on, let me go get my tools. And we went outside. Then he had to have one of the guys that works for him, this was the owner that came out to help me, and he was having some trouble with it. And he was laughing at me because I said, I watched how to do it on YouTube. And I don't know what else he said. Oh, did you see that on YouTube? Did you see that on YouTube? But hey, I've learned a lot on YouTube, but I just couldn't do it myself. So he had to get his other guy to come out there, and eventually because they had these cables that were connected, and they had to figure out how to undo that. Anyway, got the seats undone, and I was telling him, that I'm leaving to go out of state, and he said, oh, I thought you were taking the truck. And I said, no, I'm going to take the RAV. Paul doesn't like to drive the RAV around all week. So he's like, well, we didn't check this one for the road. Let me pop the hood. And he threw some windshield washer fluid in there, which I had that at home. I could have done that, but I appreciated it. And he's like, your radiator fluid's awful low. So he went and got some of that as well. But then he was looking at it, and I have the connector where the radiator, where it connects to the hose. He's like, you've got a little leak there. You don't want to take that out on the road and get stuck with that. So he's like, if you have a couple minutes, I will look it up and see if we can just buy that connector part. I'm pretty sure we can, not have to replace that whole unit on top. So, long story short, I've got the part ordered for Monday, so I decided to source a bunch this weekend, and then my helper will be there Monday, and we'll do a big shipment, and I'll leave on Tuesday. But if I had just said, I don't really know why I have this gut feeling, why I shouldn't leave today, and if I would have just left, granted, it's not the end of the world. I have AAA. I could have towed it somewhere, but, that, if I had it towed to a Toyota place since I was out of town and didn't know any mechanics there, I could have ended up having to pay for who knows what. So yeah, I've been a strong proponent for going with my gut on things I sell, on life in general, and I think it's always done pretty well by me. So obviously I would say don't go with your gut if it's an obvious no when you're kind of on the fence, but I don't know, go with your gut. That's my 2 cents for today. I'm almost to where I'm going to be shopping, so I will, like I said earlier, I'll stick those 2 items in there to show you what the actual listing showed to the public and what my actual listing said. Again, remember, the words of my description my lister wrote, it wasn't necessarily the way I would have written it. Nothing wrong with it really, but and then I will just open up and see what I actually got back in the mail. So I hope everyone's having a great spring and good sales. Update on my repricer, it's still going very well. Sales have been up. Trying to get a lot more in for April since I won't be able to do as much sourcing. And we'll talk to you in the next one. Like and subscribe, and appreciate all of you who watch my videos. Have a good day.